Hi everybody, I hope you're all doing really well. Back today to talk about my anticipated releases for February. Got quite a few books to talk about, so let's just get straight into them. So coming out on the 4th of February, we have Deep End by Ali Hazelwood. As can be expected, another lovely romance by Ali Hazelwood. Though it's interesting to see that this one is a non-STEM related book, though I guess Checkmate was also counted as a non-STEM book. Typically, she is known for writing about people who work in the sciences, especially. But in this, our couple are focused around water sports. Our leading lady, Scarlett, who is a diver, who ends up in a forbidden romance with Lucas, who is a swimmer. I think there is a tiny bit of rivals to lovers in there, a secret relationship, which all starts to come to a head when the Olympics come calling. Next up, coming out on the 6th of February, we have Nephthys by Louise Driscoll. I read a lot of Greek myth retellings, but I actually haven't read a whole lot that are using Egyptian mythology. But this one very much reminds me of Pandora by Susan Stokes Chapman, in that it is riffing on mythology, but it's not set in the time and place of that mythology itself, but using a different historical setting. So where Pandora was using, I think, the 18th century to talk about ancient Greek myth, in this we are using Egyptian mythology in a Victorian setting, focusing on a young girl called Clemmy, who has a talent for reading hieroglyphs, who ends up on a mission in Egypt to save her family. Along the way, the mythology surrounding Isis and Nephthys become increasingly relevant to her life, and she ends up uncovering family secrets and confronting her fears. Coming out on the 11th of February, we have a non-fiction book. You didn't hear this from me, mostly True Notes on Gossip by Kelsey McKinney. I always maintain that I am not a gossiper, but I think the line for me is, I don't like gossip. I just like knowing things. I don't like telling people gossip because I feel a little bit uncomfortable talking about other people's business, but I do like hearing about it. In this book, our author is looking at the cultural significance of gossip, the way that culturally gossip can be demonized, but is a key part of social interaction, particularly in bonding humans together. But also, as we know, there are downsides to gossiping about people, and it's really trying to play with that balance of the evolutionary benefits of it, the way that it can be really useful for us on a social level, but then also how it can be damaging on that same social level. Coming out on the 13th of February, another romance book is First Time Caller by B.K. Borison. I recently read Love Like Farms in my big quest to read lots and lots of Christmas romances last year, and I did find it really charming, though I haven't ventured on to the rest of the books in that series. This book is the first in a new series by B.K. Borison, the Heartstrings series. The blurb says that it's a book inspired by Sleepless in Seattle, but it also kind of reminds me of The True Love Experiment by Christina Lauren. We're focusing on our main character, Aiden, who has fallen out of love with love, which is quite unfortunate for him since he hosts a radio show which is all about relationships and romance. His world is turned upside down when a young child ends up calling on behalf of his mother Lucy, asking for relationship advice. This means that Aiden and Lucy are put in proximity with each other, with what I presume is Aiden trying to find Lucy a match, but then potentially falling in love with her in the process. A non-fiction book coming out on the 20th of February is Shelf Life, a journey through the past, present and future of bookselling and publishing in Britain by Robb. You may know that I work in publishing myself. I work for an academic publisher, so this is something that is obviously near and dear to my heart. Looking at the evolution of book publishing, the book saying it goes from William Caxton all the way up to Jeff Bezos, and the publishing world's interactions with Amazon, always a contentious subject. Going through the ups and downs of the publishing industry over its many years, and looking to the publishing industry's future and the challenges that we'll face. A history coming out on the 27th of February is Queen James, a new history about the lives and loves of Britain's first king, James Stewart, by Gareth Russell. I have previously read and loved Young, Damned and Fair by Gareth Russell, which was his biography of Catherine Howard. I also really want to read his book about Hampton Court Palace, and this book is looking at James VI of Scotland, James I of England, and the 6 men who were his 6 big loves, the impact they had on them, and particularly the impact that they had on the Stuart courts as a whole, how these different loves in his life impacted on his kingship. I always say that I am an early modernist with the 17th century taken out, and I have slowly but surely been trying to get myself a little bit more familiar with the Stuart kings and queens. So this one's definitely interesting. I'm keen to see what I think of it. And then finally, coming out on the 27th of February, another romance, because, you know, it's February. If you're not going to read romance around Valentine's Day, then when can you? And another book that is particularly relatable as somebody who works in book publicity. It is called Bad Publicity by Bianca Gillam. In this, we are looking at Andy, who is a very successful book publicist working in New York. She's just landed her dream job, but has discovered that her biggest author is one of her exes. And now she is stuck having to go on book tour with him across Europe. But of course, it being a romance book, you know that through the course of this book tour, sparks are going to fly once again. There'll be a little bit of second chance romance in here. I'm not gonna lie to you, as much as I do love a romance, I'm also really keen to read this to see what this book gets right and wrong about book publicity. I do speak about this as somebody who works in academic publishing, which is ever so slightly different to trade publishing, but nevertheless I am keen to see the portrayal. So there we go, those are some of the books that I am very much looking forward to reading in February, or at the very least, if I don't get around to them, seeing what other people think about them. Let me know if any of these books have sparked your interest. Alternatively, please let me know about any books that are coming out in February that I missed. I would love to hear from you. I hope you're having a fantastic day, and I look forward to talking to you again soon. Thanks. Bye.